course, the release champion for the Korean server. So she is a very popular pick over here in Korea.
Yeah, I'm always happy to see her come out. But, you know, Lockdown CC is there with the charm, but you have to have it connect. We'll see just how good Mickey can pilot this one out. We saw at IEM, you were kind of talking about it, just how ham he can go, and it just leads to him getting killed over and over again. So if he wants to just Spirit Rush into 5 members of Jin Air, it could be a very poor time for the Fox. So we'll see how he's going to approach this game. But, you know, big skill matchup in the top lane, you'd have to say, between Ixu and Linderong. We'll see how that one goes, and if Umti is going to have a day out on this Kha'Zix, or if he's just going to get shut down by Songwon.
You just have to feel like ROX Tigers will have a lot of different stuff. The Ahri pick, maybe not one of them, but their playstyle will be influenced by scrimming exclusively international teams and Kongdu Monster. They wouldn't have had enough time to scrim in Korea given they got back yesterday. So the word will be, you'd have to imagine in some ways they'll have a lot of strategies, especially in-game, that are hidden because, okay, they played on stage, but a lot of their recent practice wasn't against LCK teams. So should be an intriguing matchup, even if it's 8th versus 9th place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, again, this one keeps them out of that relegation zone for the end of the first round, Robin. So both teams desperately going to be looking for that win here right now. Let's go ahead, jump on to Summoner's Rift for Game 1, Jin Air Green Wings versus ROX Tigers. All right, well, the fans definitely out to play here tonight. You can hear them just yelling about as loud as they possibly could.
Yeah, the fans actually have started to stream. It is a public holiday here in Korea, so even at 5 p.m., when traditionally we don't have a lot of people really get here till 6:30, given school, work, and other commitments, there are more people in the audience, even though, of course, it is 2 teams that don't necessarily have the most massive fan base. Jin Air famously have always had a very loyal fan base despite their struggles. And ROX have done a pretty good job in general of keeping their social media strong, keeping fans engaged, even though, understandably, a lot of people have splintered off to KT, SKT, Afrika, with a lot of their favorite names.
Yeah, the roster kind of changed, but it seemed like the social media presence, you know, always having things available in English, that didn't change for the org, which is really good to maintain not just your Korean fan base, but your Western fan base as well.
Well, one thing that Western fans might not understand is that, as we see some pretty strong trading in bot, something you'll have to look at, but Western fans it might be lost on them that when it comes to orgs, is wow, Sung is going to enter lane at 200 HP, does have the 4 biscuits though, is that ROX, you know, is a team that's built in the mindset of a team like TSM. It is very much an esports org through and through. It doesn't have a massive name behind them. Famously don't have a name sponsor, so all the money is kind of coming from esports, very much a traditional business in that way. And that's why they do look to things like merchandise and other things I think they'll increasingly be putting through as a main source of income. So it's very important for them to access all the fans they can.
Yeah. We're definitely, you know, seeing a shift away from that. I mean, the remaining ones in North America, you'd have to say probably, you know, TL, or not TL, sorry, CLG, Cloud9, TSM. Song, you know.
At level 2 here, this could be an all-in.
Yeah, Teddy jumps forward with the Arcane Shift. Exhaust comes through.
Here we go for this.
Exhaust onto Key. He's going low, a couple more shots. Going to flash away from the missing shot. Will keep himself alive, but that's going to be all 4 summoners down for the ROX Tigers in the bottom lane.
And if you get a chance, go back to Bang & Wolf's post-game interview after their last win, where they talked about how Ezreal, Bang spoke specifically about Ezreal in the laning phase, can push at level 1, can queue the minion wave as it comes, and Jin is not able to counter that push. Took a preferential trade at level 1, got to level 2 first because Jin doesn't have the control of the wave, especially if you go first item into the boots. And that's why Teddy and Stuff have got a really good understanding of this matchup and are running a bot lane even though it's against the most prized and picked AD carry in the world, which is Jin.
And this is just rough stuff to start things off here for ROX Tigers, but very decisive play by Teddy and Snowflower. Seems like they definitely put in their hours for practice with this combo. And that's going to give Teddy a very nice CS lead to start things off. Songwon, in the meantime, going up towards this top lane, looking for a gank in onto Ixu, but he does flash away, so they get that just from the sheer presence of the Graves. So good pickup for Songwon and Linderong. See if they can capitalize on that.
Does also tell Sungwon there's a ward there because he flashed literally the most preeminently possible. It was a smart flash in terms of staying alive, but should communicate to the jungle on top lane that the ward is present in that area.
Yeah. Very unlikely that he was just trying to flash away from that tactical sweep.
No party flashes in the laning phase. Now, worth noting that although the laning phase is very preferential early, that does start to fall away after items. Famously, the tier being a trough in power for Ezreal compared to what will be the biggest collection of longswords possible for a Jhin.
See Umti up here. He'll spot out Songwon, so now he knows that they know that he's there. So he'll just go ahead and peel back, maybe wait in the brush for Songwon to wrap around. They're going to spot each other yet again.
Spotted.
So yeah, won't be able to come up with a kill or at least even a bit of damage in onto Songwon. So he's just going to rotate over, start going for these Raptors, see if he can take the majority of these away. Has to be careful fighting this Graves. A lot of walls nearby.
Graves famously will go for largely the farming start. Blew a flash on top from sheer presence, then return to farming. So Umti trying to get the invaders advantage and get some sort of a tussle. But good warding on both sides, like we've noticed. That's been good.
Looking for Songyun. Hit him with that Mantra Q. Does not have the flash. He's going low. Couple more shots would do it. One more auto. Can they get it? Petty. He'll have to go for it. Doesn't come up with the kill. Actually gets taken away by Snowflower. But that's first blood coming in for Jhin Air.
And Songyun had a good IM altogether, but in this case, too far up the lane with no flash, no heal, and his support not present in lane. That's just too many mistakes to make at once. And we talked about what they would return from Europe with. Looks like bad habits in this particular case is the thing to talk about, as Key continues his reputation of the most aggressive freezing of minions possible 1v2.
Yeah, as well as his roams. I mean, you know, walks out of the lane as ADC gets punished. This is something that kind of would make or break Key. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, Kuzan gets hit by the charm. He'll flash out, but one more hit will do it. He goes down. Mickey coming up with the kill. Nicely done by him. Puts one on the board for ROX Tigers.
Yeah, really nice stuff there.
Meanwhile, back down bottom yet again. Keep going low. Snowflower is just going to snatch up yet another kill as he takes out the Lulu. Hopefully we'll get a replay of that one to see how things transpired. But it's a lot of back and forth so far, but Jhin Air coming in with a lead just over 1,000.
And when I was briefing casters on the ROX Tigers when I went over to IM, that was the scouting report I gave on Key. He loves going for the most aggressive freezes possible in terms of getting the minion wave in a good spot when his spot comes back, but his AD's not there yet. He goes for the freeze, he goes for the harass, and this is, I guess you would call it a trade. It didn't look like a trade, it's kind of lost half his health for free. I don't know, Key.
It was really bad bartering right there.
I don't know about Key. I gotta say it, Achilles. He does this every time, and at some point, it's just the same as if you say started level 1, grouped in the same brush, and then got surprised, in inverted commas, by the opponent knowing. It's just free information, and it's the sort of thing that's exploitable, so exploitable trends are something you want to avoid at the highest level.
I mean, we didn't know about Key when he was with Loken, and that's why we saw Totoro come in a lot of times over top of him, so it seems like that is just going to reign true still here on the ROX Tigers. Not that that's a new revelation.
No. One little stat that is interesting between these two teams, we actually have number 1 and number 2 for percentage of team damage in the same game. Number 1, predictably, is Mickey, who does top a lot of these charts, but number 2 is actually Teddy, who has been having that really big rookie season where, okay, his team hasn't been winning a lot of matches, but Teddy's individual performances have been very, very strong. So both these guys have shouldered a large load. You know, for Mickey, and not in any way a new thing, but for Teddy to come in and have those sort of stats is a massive rookie season.
Well, tried for the gank in top. Can't come up with it. The hook shot, just a bit too quick there. Linderon gets himself out to safety. Doesn't have to use a flash or anything, and they just waste a little bit of Umti's time.
And the matchup also forced Linderon to go the Ninja Tabi first. Both players will pick up Ninja Tabi, as Zixi will be triple dipping on that particular item, but laning phase is rough early, and that's why you have to delay your item build and also lose the early trades and give up CS. We'll see a meeting as have they fucked him. Umti's used his jump. They know about this.
Well, Mickey walked out before like Songwon was ready. They should be able to take away these Raptors. There we go. So Songwon does pick him up.
It wasn't a mistake from Mickey. What he wanted to do there was to really punish because he knew jump was down. So something like the first ult Spirit Rush trick into a charm or just flash charm may have been enough to pick up a kill, but in the end not able to.
Well, fight over the red buff. So you're going to have to be very careful. He's quite squishy.
Kuzan doesn't have the package, so Ari will be the first to react, although Snowflower's here to help.
Yep, Snowflower roams up. That'll give the red over to Use the smite was a little bit early, so a little bit of a room for a steal for Songwon, but decides to peel back instead. Infernal Drake was our first spawn. Dragon has not been contested much as far as vision goes, but you can see that ROX have quite a lot inside that lower half of the jungle of Jin Air.
The ROX will kind of be behooved if they wait till Linderong has more items. At this point, I guess you could also try and take it before teleport is up by both top laners. But when Ixu is able to match teleports with Linderong, has such a big item lead that X-Tech ultimatum or no, he will be in a much better spot to impact a team fight around Drake. But always try and solo it down with Songwon, but no control wards in the infantry.
Songyun and Key, despite the really rough start, kind of stabilized a bit. CS lead hasn't gotten out of hand for Teddy, so only up by about 10 CS at the moment. Tether coming through. Songyun will get rooted. Can they find a kill? He goes so low. The True Shot Barrage is already burned, so Songyun will get away with his life and both summoners.
We saw some games where Lulu was taking over Karma back at IEM as Songwon has this Drake. No one will be there to contest. And when you see trades like you do on your screen a second ago, it makes you wonder why. Karma has the shielding in more reliable fashion. I think in most cases, the Mantra E or even just the regular E in the movement speed means a lot. Will win trades pretty heavy-handedly against the Lulu just because of the access to Q. And put 3 points into that early, then max the shield. We're seeing a lot of either Whimsy max Lulus against something like Zed or the shield max, and just feels like in the early levels, Lulu can in no way match what Karma is able to put out, and kind of has to choose between wave clear max on Q, the polymorph on W, or shielding and very defensive trades on E, whereas Karma goes QE and does everything basically. So you're seeing, I imagine, Lulu here to try and match the wave clear, but not working out too well, and Omti's going very aggressive.
Yep, gets in a lot of damage on the Songwon, jumps out to safety before Mickey can try to pursue in with a charm. Keeps himself safe, but now they're going to rotate up towards this top side. Package is in hand for Kuzan.
Wait for the wave.
For a very aggressive play here onto Linderong, has flash available. Burns the hook shot, doesn't have much of a way to go.
Nice.
Package goes in, cuts him off. Look at that shield from the passive, but still goes low. Ixu trying to get in there to tank up this turret, pops the dominance, dashes forward, the flash away from Linderong comes through. Can he get the hook shot up in time to try to create some distance? There it is, but he gets stunned right in the middle of it by the stun from Ixu, slashes his way in. Ultimatum comes down, and will barely survive. They had to invest quite a lot. They finally get the kill, but they're going to lose that tier 1 in mid over it.
Really nice stuff from specifically Ixu there as bot. We're seeing more trading.
That is a big Jin right there as the Wild Growth comes through. He's going to open up with a curtain call, try to trade some damage back onto Teddy. Snowflower just going to body block the majority of these. Falls quite low. Glitterland's not quite going to connect from Key, but the rest of ROX are roaming down. Songwon and Mickey looking for some kills. Spirit Rush is available.
The action never stops.
Oh, they're going to go ahead and commit the TP to this dive. Dashing forward, Snowflower jumps to the other side. Teddy gets locked up. The root comes through from the Deadly Flourish, and he goes down. Humpty jumps onto Linderong, stops him from getting any tags for an assist, but he cannot stop this turret going down. And just like that, ROX completely swinging themselves into a lead as they take down 2 tier 1 turrets in a matter of minutes.
And the person to really compliment overall is probably not the one you'd expect. It's Linderong on the side of ROX. The amount of time he was able to buy before he went down in top allowed them to free push and get first brick on the outer mid lane turret, the highest priority turret. And then nice roam from ROX. So ROX actually plays the map in a much smarter fashion. Jin Air went for a huge brute force. They didn't wait for the minions to crash the turret. They just tried to push it because they saw the push starting to come in mid, and in many ways were punished. Sure, end up picking up the answering kill out top, but it was a really nice rotation from the Tigers after they got the information that Linderong was going to die and it was going to be a matter of time.
Yeah. And as expected, game is very close at the moment. Just 500 gold separating both of these teams at the moment. ROX not having quite as explosive of a lead as you might have expected after that map play. Still are up that turret. Mid tier 1 going down is very crucial for them for map control. As you can see, they're already starting to clear out these wards that Jin Air had established inside the river.
Jin Air got a lot of gold from bot lane. Harmer's got 2 kills, and in general, they were running that particular lane. Actually, they might see a fight over the Rift Herald. Don't see this very often.
5-man Rift Herald, that'd be something to behold. Snowflower gets locked down by the ultimatum. Mickey comes in over the wall, finds the first kill of the fight. Can he follow up for more? The answer is yes. Gets the double kill. Umti getting slowed up by the curtain call. 4th shot won't connect in onto Teddy, but Umti, there's just nowhere to go. Can't find the triple kill. Songwon able to pick that one up. Now Kuzan, he wants to go on the offensive here. Jumps forward, gets a kill onto Songyun, but can he make it out with his life? Red buff slow was there from Songwon, but doesn't want to pursue any deeper into the jungle. Looks like they'll just settle for this turret if they can have it. Kuzan gonna do his damnedest to clear out this wave with the False Bomb and rockets, but might just come up short.
They will be forced to back away.
Oh, Songwon, he gets hit by the turret shot, and Teddy lines up a Mystic. And that is just going to be another kill coming through, so misplay by Songwon, sticking around a bit too long.
But we're seeing the 8th versus 9th place game that we wanted to see. Sure, there's some sloppy stuff in laning phase, some sloppy stuff
but
in the team fights as well, but it's a really bloody game that we don't see that often in Korea. Mickey went for the flash. He didn't want to miss out on any damage. You can Spirit Rush over that wall, chose not to, want to invest everything in damage. First kill, 2 kills to Mickey. But when they had to choose, they chose to go for Umti. So even though the skill shot accuracy is excellent from Mickey, they take turret shots left and right. The Songyun is left alone because he doesn't want to just tank up 3 turret shots to get there. Assassinated by Kuzan. Another kill on the back end of the fight as well from sloppy turret tanking. This isn't kind of the game we expected when we saw Jin Air versus ROX Tigers. Everyone was kind of keeping their afternoon open for a 3-hour long series, but we might still go long, but it's going to be a bloody race to that time.
Yeah. Oh, man. Well, he seems to have exploded 4th onto the Rift. And I got to say, it's a nice change of pace compared to Jin Air's usual style. I mean, even seeing them go for these aggressive plays is definitely a bit of a change. So it seems like the break has altered their mentality coming into this game.
This would have been a lot of time to solo queue. Snowflower was frustrated by that. He was 1st and 2nd on the challenger ladder depending on the day, but has fallen down to, I believe it's 13th, maybe even lower. I saw a lot of red in his matches. So
I think
he's
said
tilted.
13th when you were looking at it.
I think he's tilted, put it that way, about solo queue.
Could be. That's why he's trying to snatch up all those kills away from the rest of his team.
I mean, pretty good to work out your solo queue frustration in LCK.
Yeah.
Definitely one of the healthier ways to do it. Mickey's going all in. Remember, he's huge, 4-1.
Yeah, Charm doesn't connect, and now Kuzan comes over the wall with the package. He's going to have to use that Spirit Rush to try to get out. Doesn't have any more charges, but the rest of his team is waiting down here by the Dragon. So Cloud Drake gets snatched up. 2nd Dragon now for the ROX Tigers, and there's going to be a 2nd Infernal Drake spawning in 6 minutes. So if they can get that for themselves, it's going to be quite a bit of damage that Mickey is able to output.
Big rotation here from Jin Air. This turret's low. Linderung's only level 10.
He goes forward with a hook shot, doesn't have that escape mechanism, now trying to clear out the wave with that tactical sweep, throws down the ultimatum on the Ixu, but meanwhile in the jungle, Kuzan just absolutely annihilates Mickey. He just gets destroyed, and that is going to leave ROX Tigers having to back off their big bursty mage taken out, and they just have to watch that tier 2 go down.
Yeah, they give up big spree as well. Mickey was 4-0 as he made the rotation, and ROX were disrespectful over an area that Jin Air had set up vision around multiple times. They're going to try and pick up the Rift Herald on the back end, but there was a control ward down for a few minutes. They clearly had just made a map-wide rotation, and the rest of ROX went the most aggressive way possible, and predictably, Mickey caught in rotation, and now bonus objectives over to Jin Air.
Yeah, that's going to be Ixu getting the buff. You can see Mickey coming in, not even full HP, but just Gatling gun plus rocket with the damage that Umti was already able to lay down leads to Mickey going boom.
Just a single time this game. The Mem Boom has not certainly hit the Rift just yet. That was the last series against G2.
I like how when I saw them go over the wall for the Rift Herald, I really thought it was the Baron. I was like, oh wait, we're only 17 and a half minutes into this game.
Usually when there's 12 kills on the board, we're around 40 minutes into the game.
Exactly. So I got baited for a second there.
Most fun thing is that we got some pretty high spiking mid-game champions in the mid lane, and both of them are doing very well. Trinity Force into Hex Drinker and Sorcerer's Shoes completed for Kuzan. It's kind of been worryingly one of the weaker performers for Jin Air this season. He's certainly not been able to keep up with the expectations that were around him. The only person that is still on the roster from the 2016 season kind of was always the diamond in the rough for Jin Air, even through their struggles over the course of 2016. So it's been a bit slow for him, but always confident he'll get back there.
He's just waiting for Lissandra and like Vladimir to come back into the meta.
Hey, Mickey's a pretty good Vlad too.
That's true. Vladimir did get some buffs, 7.3. Just a couple changes. Don't think we're going to be seeing him quite as dominant on the Rift as we saw in summer.
I think he's getting there in terms of power level. One more buff might see him get close to the time when he was very, very strong. But the big issue for Vlad is that it just feels like it's all about the mid-game, specifically about 2 items. And Vlad kind of takes 3, 4, gets stronger as the game goes on. So whether you can burst and take a turret, like someone like Corky's able to do, or get picks, I think that's kind of what's important. The late-game teamfight mages from the mid lane, sure, there's a bit of Orianna, but the rest of them a little bit more decisive than the kind of more reactive game of Vladimir.
Never know. Could see him come out. We've had those edge-of-the-meta picks that have made their way back in. Sion, you know, for ADD. And now Talon, I guess you could kind of rope into that. So could very well see Vladimir make a reappearance. Now Kuzan and Umti up in this top lane have to be careful. He's going to use the Valkyrie, but the Deadly Flourish connects, and that's just going to be Kuzan likely saying good night. No! Shield comes out from Snowflower, keeps him alive. Does not go down. The curtain call shots don't connect, but ROX still happy to pick up tier 1 turret in top. All of the outers have now been taken by them.
Still very clean objective take by ROX Tigers this time around after they'd messed up around that objective just a few minutes ago. No answering objectives this time for Ixu, as Linderong was already in position in bot lane. Trinity Force completed, but certainly behind in items compared to Ixu.
Just trying to deal with that. Camille in the bottom lane, get on top of that turret. Just a couple more shots from the Renekton should be able to take it down. You can see that Linderong currently roaming away, going to be looking for Umti. Doesn't catch him with the hook shot though. So Kha'Zix will make it out safely, but he doesn't get the Scuttlecraft.
Team comp wise, ROX Tigers really wants to keep this game messy. They want to catch people in rotation. They have great pick power, but in team fights they will struggle. The only person that can in any way make Teddy accountable, as you're going to see a pick.
Kuzan, yep, he gets charmed up. One more hit will do it. He goes down, kill goes over to Key.
This is what they need to do. They need to keep up the control wards, look for picks, because in a team fight, either the ultimatum forces Teddy to fight, or he will kite out the entire team of ROX Tigers. No one else that can make him accountable. No Maokai to root him up or anything like that. So, in general, with Teddy having a fast start, there's not a lot of ways to make the Ezreal accountable outside of the Hextech ultimatum. And as a champion, Camille prefers to be in the split push anyway, very, very fast on clearing those turrets. So keeping this game messy, keeping this game rotating, no 5v5s in the open is exactly the game plan that ROX Tigers is looking for.
Yeah. See, Songwon gets a little bit of alone time with that turret. Chunks it down to half HP.
And weirdly for Jin Air, and awkwardly, they can't really force anything. They don't even have the pick CC of something like the Ahri Charm. They have Renekton, who sure can stun one person in melee range, but the rest of the champions can fight a team fight, but in general it's about kiting back. It's about looking for poking around objectives, then disengaging. So for them, fights around the Baron where they can put up exclusive vision and force ROX Tigers to fight. It's always an interesting pendulum when it's a team that can't force a fight but would actually like to fight versus a team that can force fights but doesn't want to fight. So yeah, we'll have to see.
There's no real reliable engage for Jin Air.
And that sounds like 70-minute games. That's definitely an A+B=C.
You don't want your engage to be Kuzan with a package.
No.
Mickey's been on that side.
Oh, he has. Too many times.
He'd like to avoid that from now on, I'm sure. TP coming in behind Jin Air, cutting them off. Linderong, let's see who he wants to target. Doesn't get anybody with a hook shot, but slows up onto Umti, and the curtain call is just raining down on top. Ixu gets locked up by the charm. They go in. Snowflower almost falling. He does die in the last second there as Mickey hits him with the auto attack. Another charm comes through, locks up Teddy. He'll fall. It's a double kill going over to the Ahri. Umti trying to make it out, maybe trying to hunt down a kill on the Linderong, but it's just too risky. He has to peel back. That's a 3-0 for ROX Tigers. Now they're going to be looking at Baron.
Yeah, really nice pick coming out of the ROX Tigers. They got the burst down on a single member. Hextech Ultimatum was the big thing there. No one was able to disengage from it. AD carry and support dead. They're going to have to do some trade tanking. No true tankiness here between the members of ROX Tigers, but this should be first Baron in the game to ROX.
Yeah. He offering up those shields as best as he can. Keeps everybody alive, and then his Baron going over at just under 24 minutes. We'll get another look at that fight.
Yeah, just nice to come from multiple angles, and ROX, sure, may not have 5v5 in the open, but this isn't in the open. We see Jin disengaging towards a very narrow choke just outside the red buff, and that's why much easier to hit these charms. Teddy in the open will never get hit by an Ahri charm unless he makes a big mistake. Linderung alone chasing down 3.
Yeah, takes a lot of damage, has to flash away, gets a shield from Key to keep him alive. But meanwhile, Mickey, he comes over the wall, and Snowflower just disappears. We missed it due to the replay, but the Infernal Drake was taken by Jin Air, so stopping that double Infernal for coming through for the ROX Tigers for now, because there's a third on the way, so we'll see that in 6 minutes. Double Infernal Drake for either side. It's going to be so heavily contested, but now Jin Air just have to hold on, try to wait out those Baron buffs.
And you blink once, you blink twice, and it was once again Ahri clearing up team fights. 7-1-4 is the Ahri, who's had a comfortable CS advantage over the Corki as well. 3-item Ahri at 24 minutes is just massive. The fall off is probably not going to come. That's a really
deep TP coming through from Ixu. Won't be able to join the fight for at least another 10 seconds or so. He in a bad spot, tries to go invisible, leaps over the wall. Mickey just going to go ahead, try to pursue over, but the collateral damage is enough to take out the Kha'Zix in the end. Songwon barely living. The Wild Growth keeps him up. He won't be able to contribute too much more to this fight, but Linderung, he goes forward, gets the ultimatum, drop down onto Ixu, and Songyun comes up with the kill, taking out the Crocodile. He will fall, but the answer one onto Mickey as Teddy snatches that up, but overall, ROX still just coming up huge in these fights.
You just wonder who's making the calls, because sure, you might hear go for the teleport, but there was no appropriate ward for Ixu to teleport. The only ward available at the enemy blue buff when they're losing the game against a Baron buffed opponent. You need to understand and be able to just walk up, pull back, not look for the pick. So he ended up baiting his team, going for that teleport play, whether it was of his own or called. And at the end of the day, well, Mickey probably didn't need to flash over. We saw
probably would have kept him alive.
Collateral damage was going to make things happen, and Renekton's still not in the fight. It's kind of the big issue they had, and by the time he did, ultimatum was put in to effectively force Ixu to have nowhere to kite away from the ultimate, as turret shots have been really, really mean to the side of ROX. That's the second person who's died to a turret shot after a Mystic shot.
That's Teddy's win condition. It's very niche, very limited opportunities, but damn if he doesn't take advantage of it.
I mean, 2 for 2, he's making it work.
Oh dear, well ROX have certainly exploded a lead for themselves. Almost 5,000 gold up at the moment, 13-7. It's been one hell of a bloody game. 20 kills in 26.5 minutes. But 4 turrets up. 2 dragons here for ROX, and still just a little bit of time left on that Baron buff. It's about 75% of the way through being consumed. They'll be able to net themselves as tier 2 in mid. Now just have that last inner turret in top to knock down, and then it's on toward the inhibitors.
This is kind of the situation where, you know, for all I said about ROX kind of having narrow things they need to do, you look at Jin Air and you're like, okay, Renekton into Fiora, that's a good matchup. We already knew about Ezreal Karma, and it was well executed by Teddy and Snowfire in that lane. But thematically, what does this team comp really do? They can kite, but that's kind of all they do, and kiting doesn't mean much if you're second to objectives and losing them, because the enemy team has picked CC and has won the early mid-game pretty comfortably. Actually been a trend of this week, of team comps that don't really have a theme. Not like, say, a Malphite Amumu comp, where you know exactly what it wants to do. This comp is very much about the laning phase only, as Eddie's the one person who can actually make things happen, but only because Songyun really overstepped.
Yet again. So that's flash heal down away from the Jin.
And sure, you get a good start, and you don't have to worry about, on paper, what team comps do, but then you get to this point of the game as Jin Air, how can they really force something to happen? We already mentioned they don't have the CC to do it. They don't really have the map positioning to do it because they can't be kiting back around objectives. They can't even push wards further than their own base or perhaps their own jungle camps. And thus, it just feels like ROX will continue to grow a lead. If Jin Air come one by one, they'll get picked off contesting objectives. ROX have the run of the game, and Jin Air have a pretty big Ezreal. And that, to me, that's just not enough for the drafting phase.
Well, if there's anything that we've learned about ROX, It's that the gold lead doesn't matter until the next explodes. So is there a chance that Jin Air could swing themselves back into this game? Sure. Is it very likely? No, not really. ROX can keep up the pace that they've established. And Jin Air might just get snuffed out here in under the next 10 minutes. Songwon, though, trying to make a play onto him. They don't get a whole lot of damage in. Well, Umti going low, takes quite a bit. Doesn't get the backswing in from that orb, but lands a charm onto Ixu, and he's going to fall. He does come up with that kill, Linderong. Couldn't get a stun in with the hook shot, so just going to go ahead and dash his way back out, likely move up towards that top side of the map, perhaps. Get that pushing. Key still really far forward. He will go down in the end. Teddy does find another kill. Songyu not able to keep his support alive. And now Songwon yet again. Way too far forward. Still quite tanky. Dashing back and forth. Still alive as Songyun comes up with a kill onto Teddy. And somehow, yet again, Songwon stays alive.
Overall, the chaos suits the ROX Tigers' game plan. They continue to push up. Key is caught out, trying to ward. They don't lose any objectives. Not really anything to be made accountable for by Jin Air. So they'll just go back to wave clear and get a bit more time to farm up and close the gold lead. That's all you can really say for the Jin Air Green Wings. And Ixu's kind of the big loser when it comes to item builds. Wants to go lane dominant. If you're talking about the 1v1 against Camille in a side lane, where he's at is fine. But then Mickey shows up in a team fight and just obliterates his health bar.
Yeah, we've already seen that. So Guardian Angel will get picked up, but it's just not going to be nearly enough MR for him to live through that damage. Meanwhile, though, ROX, they start up this Infernal Drake. There's no one there to contest it, so that will be a second Infernal attacked on top of their Cloud Drake. So 3 buffs to be affected by that Elder, should it come down to it.
And it's also double Infernal Drake for a 4-item Ahri. Ahri is obscenely far ahead, probably just a death cap to round out the build. And there's no magic resist really to answer it. The Mormon Mortis is certainly not going to do a big enough job.
Well, it's going to be the Void Spikes coming over, and Umti just takes so much damage right off the bat. Has to immediately leave. Meanwhile, the rest of the team take out the Baron. Kuzan has the package.
Kuzan?
Is he looking for a play? It would be certainly a suicide mission if he goes over this wall. Looks like he's just going to have to let them walk out. And Jin Air, for all their troubles, they get a Scub Crab.
No other frontliner to assist in what, as you say, would have been a suicide special delivery. That's not the sort of special delivery you want at all.
Yeah, definitely not.
And just a free recall.
He thinks better of it, though.
Mickey would have gone over, let's be real. Where's my team? That's what he would have asked. Probably in Korean, though.
He wants the package to operate like a Rise ultimate. And I'll just hop on the back of it and just fly in together.
Ah, Rise ultimates. We saw the party Realm Warp.
Oh, yeah.
A few weeks ago.
Had a couple of those.
Some good ones, too. The Oxen one, of course, from NA, very famous. The rotational ones usually get the highlight clips, which is always fun to see.
Oh, yeah, it was Mickey with the party warp, wasn't it? Dragged his team in and they all died.
To melee range, yes. Mickey likes to party, is what we've learned from watching him play.
Should hang out with Bubbling. Wonder what Bubbling's up to. Probably just non-stop out at the clubs.
Probably playing a lot of solo queue, if we're going to be real. Trying to get picked up. His mate Haru did all right. You're seeing him later today.
Quite all right for himself. But now ROX just going to be looking to chip away at the base of Jin Air steadily and deliver that final nail into the coffin. So trying to hold on here, but Linderong's just got so much presence right now. Won't take much damage from the Randuins. So he's quite all right to just go ahead and stick around and right into Ixu's face.
Yeah, Ixu already popped ultimate for wave clear, I guess. Also tried and punish when Linderong went for those Triforce procs on the turret. But it is losing that war over time.
Well, Mickey gets the inhib turret in mid. Just going to keep trying to get those waves crashing in to whittle away at that. Get those super creeps coming through. Ixu yet again going for a TP, coming in next to the Wolf camp. Good slice and dice over the wall, but actually just going to wrap around the long way. They do spot him out, but he should be able to jump straight in onto Songyun. He flashes away, still gets locked up by the stun, but now could just turn right in onto Songwon. You find
Meanwhile,
1 kill onto Key, but meanwhile, yeah, the base is just getting shattered. So Jin Air trying to pick up some kills. They're able to find 2. But look at this. This is just going to be the Nexus turrets crumbling.
And nothing they can do. Mickey and Linderung free time will be double Nexus turret down. They're just backing because they can't stop Teddy interrupting people. They're going to go for the end.
Yeah, MT coming in. That's going to be the ultimatum thrown out immediately. Mickey goes low, will fall.
Can Linderung do it?
Comes up with a kill. Linderung trying to do his best XPK impersonation, and he comes up with it, takes out the Nexus just under 34 minutes. And ROX Tigers will kick things off with a win.
And we wonder what the ROX Tigers will bring back from Europe. Well, they brought back the XPK. XPK was actually there as a Gillette-nominated sponsored person there.
They probably shaved with those nice Gillette razors today.
Maybe he shook hands, because look, they brought back some interesting early game moves. They brought back the Lulu, and they brought back the XPK. So, job well done when it comes to your European postcard moments for the ROX Tigers.
They space jammed him with the razor. They all shaved with it. They siphoned XPK's power. And they come up with the win here in Game 1. Well, nicely done by ROX. Certainly a bloody game by both sides. Jin Air showing promise at the start of that one, especially in the bottom lane with Teddy and Snowflower. But just again, this team comp didn't start fights, and that's what they wanted to do.
Yeah, unfortunately, Jin Air's team comp, while it had some good laning matchups, he didn't really think about it during the laning phase. Outside of laning phase when they were losing, really didn't do anything thematically, and that's why it just ended up falling behind. ROX Tigers had multiple different ways to end the game, ended up doing so pretty decisively, especially in terms of Jin Air games, and pretty comfortable victors in Game 1.
Yep, Jin Air, they needed a 2-0 victory here to jump ahead of ROX Tigers, so I think that if they go 2-1, they might tie and beat them in the head-to-head. I'm not entirely certain, but I think there is an outside chance they can make it into 8th place. But for now, looks like they might just be stuck here in 9th. Rough stuff from them. ROX Tigers, we'll see if they can close this out with a 2-0. Be a nice upswing for them after IEM. But Jin Air, we'll see if they can fire back. We're going to go to a quick break. When we return, we'll have Game 2.